Hello everyone, it is the me, GamePagan21, and today, well, this one is probably going to go under the radar, but it's uploading on my Saturday schedule, so I don't expect it to do that well. But guess what is coming out this fairly soon, actually, in a couple months? The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring is coming out very, very soon. And with all of this other stuff happening, I kind of needed just a smaller video for at least Saturday, because Tuesday is going to be the main upload of all of the salt that I've collected for it. But I just wanted to talk about something positive this week, because basically my excitement for this is practically like this meme by Paldians and Carvins. It has how it feels to being on Twitter after the Nintendo Partner Direct and the Elden Ring DLC reveal event, with like all of these people saying Xbox is dead, Xbox is making a big mistake, Phil Spencer is a fool. And it's like me just wanting to think about the Elden Ring DLC. It's like, yeah, I want to buy it really badly. It's a good DLC and it looks fun. So yeah, but I'm going to be taking a look at some of the screenshots that I have here and talk about some of them, because there is actually some hot salt to be had in this video. So stay tuned a little bit for that. But overall, we're just going to be talking about at least some of the other news and things that's been kind of swept a bit under the rug because of the main story of like mainly I think Helldivers hitting a new all-time peak of around 450k players and other stuff, and they still have server issues and things, and they've also gone into, I think, a mixed because of those server issues. But we get beyond that point. First of all, shilling 1k subscribers by the end of the year. Please subscribe. It would really help me to, get that to that goal. My new music is coming out next month. My new single, Ode to Friday Nights, is coming out in a couple of weeks. Be sure to look out for that. I stream on Twitch mostly on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Though, again, check the Twitch channel for that. I don't really post the schedule here because I don't know my schedule half the time. So, yeah. Overall, I love you all, and thank you so much for the support. Now let's get into this. So we're going to start this off, oddly enough, with Joe from Seattle, who I actually like him. He's one of my more favorite salt miner content creator type things. And Joe actually said that the Shadow of the Erdtree trailer just shot Elden Ring to number 3 on Steam in terms of, like, buying the game, which is interesting. And again, you can kind of see from this screenshot here, I'm going to have to zoom in just a little bit. Elden Ring is still sitting at a mostly positive. With Helldivers 2, even though it's like the top selling one, it's still sitting at a mixed, which is a little bit odd. Just not odd, but like you understand why that's happening as well. And speaking of Helldivers 2 really quickly as well, there's been a lot of pushback from like people that want Helldivers 2 to be on Xbox. With this whole petition here being like from change.org being the bring Helldivers to Xbox, where they want them to get Xbox, and there's over 50k things in terms of this screenshot. I think that might have even gone up, because there's a lot of pressure for them to kind of port it over to Xbox, but unsure if they will. It's one of those things where it's like looking at it, it's funny to think about, but given the current state of people, if they announced it, say tomorrow, coming to Xbox, that would be fucking hilarious. Like, that'd be so funny. It probably won't, but it'd just be really funny to see all the salty tears of like, oh, there needs to get all this thing there, and then they'd still shift the goalpost for it. Partanium 8 said the Elden Ring DLC looks beautiful. I can see why it took a while to come out, and there's a nice, beautiful, lovely, look at that screenshot. That screenshot is of one of the sweeping shots of these two, I believe, players dueling in this just beautiful field. Look at that shit. Look at that. Even though this is like a crappy JPEG and it doesn't get the whole thing, that looks so fucking cool. It's so awesome. And yeah, also, of course, gotta bring up the Helldivers thing, where they've I think again they've gone past the 425 to around 450-ish. Again, the server issues and stuff still playing this thing, and it's like, oh, it's outdone Counter-Strike 2 and Dota 2 in terms of concurrent player count that day, but still its all-time player count is still capped at around 420 or 450 stuff. So yeah. What's also really funny here is that this is like one of those memes that I just kind of threw in here to just talk about, because this is just so very true, and that the Horizon games seriously just have some of the worst releasing like schedule stuff, because when they release those games, they just like, it's always surrounded by games that are like 10 to 15 times better at doing the exact same thing. Like the Horizon games got crushed by Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring and Dragon Dogma 2 and even Resident Evil VR, which is just super baffling to me. This is from Kev, by the way, so yeah, that just kind of makes it really funny. Another interesting one, another game that kind of gets swept under the rug here, was Machine Games, is the makers of Wolfenstein, and they're like the masters of first person, and calling them lazy is a sign of not knowing crap about gaming, with Icon Era basically posting an entire article saying that Helldivers 2 proves Indiana Jones game being first person is a lazy attempt with no real effort put into it. And I would say that that's not true. Because, yeah, first-person games are technically easier to make, because a lot of that does seem to translate into kind of fudging reloads and stuff like that. But I would argue that it's actually harder to do a first-person game and make it look as good as, Indiana Jones does, rather than making a nice third-person game where it might not look all that good. Because at the same time, there's, like, problems with third-person games. It's like the Machine Games is playing to their strengths. Why is that not seen as good? Plus, again, the whip gameplay with first person kind of makes it look fine. And I know that means, like, it feels like me capping for it, but it's like, yeah, but I'd still say, like, there should be maybe a third-person mode if they can allow that to be an option, because I think that that'd be pretty cool. But, I mean, I personally want to punch people as Indiana Jones in first person. I'm not gonna say the word, but you all know what I mean when I'm talking about that. And then we have a little bit of trolling here from K-Med with a y'all still like that Elden Ring game, with a whole like kind of gif here. And I went into the comments, and I made sure to capture this, because I don't want you sending hate to this guy. But overall, K-Med is like, also, I'm kidding. Please don't come after my family or the dogs, and definitely not the dogs. Yeah, definitely don't come after his dogs. Okay, they're just good boys. All right, they're really good boys. They don't deserve the hate. They're lovely. I haven't met them or anything like that, but just never go after dogs. It's like, that's my one big pet peeve here. But there is one more interesting thing that I wanted to talk about, where someone by the name of Matagumd Eldamandov, I am fucking butchering that name, where he then basically just lists out an entire list of fucking demands, and all of these are so fucking ridiculously bad that I just wanted to talk about this the rest of the video, because this is the salt part of the video, and you all deserve your salt after doing this whole thing. And in before, oh, well, this is probably just satire, someone literally in the comments, by the way, said, please tell me that this is satire, with him saying that it's not, which, that's all the proof that I need. So, with that being said, let's go through each of these points and basically tear him a fucking new one, because, quite frankly, I need a punching bag, and this video deserves it. So, yeah. So, here's the list of demands and how to quote-unquote fix Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Erd Tree. Side boss variety. Okay, that one actually kind of makes sense. But, they can only create so many of them. But at the same time, there was a lot of side boss variety in taking on sometimes two different side bosses. But again, there's a lot of side bosses that are like later in the game that are really, really big. And it's Jesus Christ. Again, you can go on entire, like, side quests and face, like, 5 to 6 different bosses that are, like, side bosses. But whatever. Easy mode. Yeah, an easy mode to fucking ruin the entire balance of the game. And, take the entire point of, well, maybe not the entire point, but, like, really? Really? Like, do we have to get into this whole thing again with easy mode and how FromSoft games just don't... It doesn't... boy. Accessibility. There's a lot of accessibility things with this game. Like, there's so many different accessibility ways that it's ridiculous. Like, you can literally set up the whole controller for it. What the heck is in my eye? But like, huh? More cutscenes. No, don't make this shit cinematic. It already is cinematic in gameplay. More cutscenes would kind of ruin the flow of the gameplay. And quite frankly, like, even though the cutscenes in this game are already just beautifully animated, by the way, they're like so good, I would prefer not to just let the game speak for itself. Like, what part of FromSoft games means that you should make them quote unquote more cinematic? No stamina bar. Oh, just no. Fuck off. No. I'm out of funny for that one. No. Like, if you cannot manage your goddamn stamina, that's a skill issue. Like, purely and utterly. Like, manage your fucking stamina or get the fuck out. You don't deserve to be playing this game at all. Like, that's stupid. Less clunky. Maybe. That one's a definite, like, But, like, if you want it to be less clunky, get better at the controls. They're not as clunky as you did, and they're pretty refined for what they are. And, like, that's kind of the point. That's, like, tell me you've not played anything from FromSoft in the past, like, 10 years without telling me you've never played anything from FromSoft in that context. Pause button. There is a pause button. What? What the fuck do you mean, pause button? There is a pause button. You just hit start. Or you, like, go to a thing. Mini-map. I can take it or leave it on that one, personally. I think that the lack of mini-map is actually really good, because then it means that in my immersion brain, it's me actually, like, pulling out a map and kind of figuring out what the fuck I am. But a mini-map, I don't think it would work, in my personal opinion. Plus, again, like, it would just take up a bunch of the screen, and you would want to be able to see all that stuff. Quest journal. Now, that one I can see. I wouldn't say that that's, like, the way to do it, and you just want it to be more mainstream, don't you? And again, you don't fucking realize that that's the case. Plus, I also like the fact that I have to look up a lot of things. It kind of reminds me of, like, the old school days with that. Map markers for sites of grace. What the fuck do you mean, map markers for sites of grace? What? No. Oh my god. Are you fucking me in the ass right now? Saying map markers for sites of grace? That they exist. Whenever you find a site of grace, like, they exist. And then you have a map marker for them on your fucking map. Like, what? What? This is why someone was like, oh, has to be satire. It's like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about at this point. Like, for some of these examples, I can maybe see where you're coming from. I don't agree, but I can see it. This one I don't, because this is, like, one of those points that just, like, makes no fucking sense. Because you can see them once you find them on the map. Like, that's so stupid. Manual saves. Okay, that one I can agree with. At least being able to save from, like, say, a site of grace would be good. But there's a lot of auto saves and stuff like that anyway, so that's fine. But manual saves from, like, sites of grace, I can agree to that point, because I do think that that's actually good. And I think that there is manual saves, if I remember correctly. Do correct me in the comments. But, like, I do believe there is such a thing as manual saves. But manual saves from saying, like, going to a site of grace and saving from there could be really good. And I think that you do automatically save whenever you sit at a site of grace. So that's fine. But if you mean manual saves from, like, you can just stand in the middle of nowhere, no. Manual saves on sites of grace makes more sense, because it's less better. More women, less pretty. Make women less pretty, more realistic, and black representation. Who hurt you? No, seriously, who the fuck hurt you as a child? Was it your mom? Did your mom just take the chancla and just go, like, you are bad, and just, like, throw it from across, like, the planet and smack you across the face several times with that? Like, it is so fucking stupid that you would even, like, it's a video game. While I agree the black representation can be very important, to me, the whole thing, even about that, just makes no sense. Because it's art. It's meant to represent that. And it's like, yeah, absolutely, represent black representation and blah-de, 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 blah. And, like, that's fine. Like, if you want to have black representation, go ahead and have black representation. And I know that there are people out there who are probably going to cancel me on Twitter for being like, oh, your opinions are very, like, fucking stupid because of the fact that you don't want black representation in video games. Like, no, that's not true at all. But my whole thing is that just make it make sense. Like, that, just make it make sense. And it doesn't make sense in terms of Elden Ring because, I don't know, it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel like it makes sense, and I don't know why. But make women less pretty? Fuck you. Like, genuinely, if you are scared of pretty women, you're probably gay. And that's coming from me, who is very gay, but also not gay, so take that as you will. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this list is apparently not satire, according to him, which, that's fucking stupid. And, again, I probably went off on that list a little too hard, and again, this is mostly for jokes, entertainment, and stuff, so don't take it too seriously. But, I think to kind of end this off, there is a bit of an interesting positive news here that is also kind of getting swept under the rug, at least for this, and that is the fact that Sony confirms that PSVR 2 is coming to PC, or at least they have stated that they have intentions to bring some of the PSVR 2 games to PC, which, to be fair, I am actually very excited for because in terms of what MBG has quoted here, so take this again with a grain of salt, but according to this quote from MBG, who is quoting them saying, also, we're pleased to share we are currently testing the ability for PSVR 2 players to access additional games on PC to offer even more game variety in addition to PSVR 2 titles available through PlayStation 5. We hope to make this support available in 2024, so stay tuned for more updates. This is one of those things where I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, we can actually, get some solid first-party PlayStation VR 2 support because, again, they're seemingly getting more aggressive with the PlayStation brand coming to PC, and I think that this is one of those things. If they do this, and here's what I'm thinking, what they are probably going to do is they are probably going to make their own app on Microsoft or for PC for PlayStation VR 2 that can hook into hopefully Steam VR, and then port over all of their games through that PlayStation VR 2 app from your PC and be able to play PC VR games with the PSVR 2. Because here's the thing, the PSVR 2 is a solid piece of equipment. I've told about this and talked about this a number of times, and it deserves to have a bigger audience, but it is still being hampered by the fact that it's stuck on the PlayStation, which is the whole reason as to why the PlayStation VR 1 wasn't as good, and it didn't do all that well numbers because they couldn't support it and it was very old hardware. But it at least had some interesting ideas. But with the PSVR 2 being more powerful and having a lot of more modern functions, including the haptic feedback of like their hand tracking system here, I think that they have a definite good shot of taking a chunk out of taking even just a small chunk out of the market. Because for me, I would definitely at least consider upgrading this, especially if it you could hook it into the Steam VR ecosystem, because that has eye tracking, it has good tracking for your hands and stuff. It could be good, but unsure. But I mean, again, being swept under the rug because the whole everything else happening in the gaming space with Xbox and stuff. So you know what? I am just going to upload this for my Saturday upload, and don't worry, I will get the main upload of all of the big-ass Xbox going third-party coming out next week on my Tuesday, because quite frankly, it's a lot of salt to go through. And this video is already 20 minutes, so yeah. Just a small video for a small day that I didn't really want to do. Or, well, I did want to do it, but I didn't want to, like, talk about the main thing. So, yeah. Anyway, the new DLC for Elden Ring is coming out fairly soon. PlayStation is getting absolutely numbers on PC. They're getting more aggressive with their PC strategy, and quite frankly, no one seems to be talking about it because everyone is now talking about Xbox and how they are bringing over just 4 games to the other platforms, and that's really it. Anyway, my name is GamePenguin21. Fanboys be wild, and a peace off.